The message arrived on a Tuesday. It wasn't broadcast from orbit. It wasn't beamed through satellites. It simply appeared simultaneously in every major diplomatic channel on Earth, from the White House Situation Room to the basement of a Nigerian embassy in Budapest. One moment silence. The next, a glyph-bearing message in pristine English, Mandarin, Arabic, and Swahili. The Galactic Council welcomes Earth's representatives. You are invited to present your civilization for evaluation and possible inclusion. Arrival coordinates attached. You have 10 solar cycles. The world held its breath for a moment. Then all hell broke loose. 10 days of frantic global cooperation followed. Old enemies shook hands. Scientific institutions vomited out theories. Governments scrambled to unify. It was the most coordinated global effort in history. And for once, no one fired a single missile. By day 9, Earth had appointed its envoy. Ambassador Elaine Rivera, a half-Mexican, half-Puerto Rican career diplomat with a PhD in intergovernmental conflict resolution and a medal for surviving a hostage crisis in Jakarta. She had a sharp tongue, a sharper brain, and the ability to smile politely while dismembering someone's argument with surgical sarcasm. Elaine's support team included Dr. Priya Khanna, a bubbly xenolinguist from Delhi, and Sergeant Malik DuPont, a former Marine Force recon operative with more muscle than patience. They were Earth's first step into the unknown. And what a step it was. They boarded the Kivrek Envoy cruiser, a sleek, eel-like spacecraft made of a shimmering material that shifted colors like oil on water. The moment Elaine stepped aboard, she whispered to DuPont, "Reminds me of a luxury car made love to a jellyfish." The Kivrek captain, a translucent being with swirling lights for organs, greeted them in perfect English. "This vessel will transport you to the Galactic Council station. Estimated arrival: 4 human days. Please refrain from disassembling or reverse engineering the ship." "Wouldn't dream of it," Elaine said. "Though we might try to understand how the hell you broke every law of physics we know." Captain Verlek pulsed an odd color. Possibly amusement. Day 1 on the cruiser. Elaine spent it reading through a digital orientation packet with all the excitement of someone skimming terms and conditions. It was dense with legalese, diplomatic jargon, and something she suspected was either a coded insult or the galaxy's worst idiom. To bend like the rootworm is to flourish in the storm. She made a note to ask Priya. Meanwhile, DuPont walked the halls of the ship silently, counting cameras, noting blind spots, and scanning every system he could with his smart lens. He didn't trust these aliens. Not yet. Dr. Khanna, on the other hand, was in full child at Disneyland mode. "Captain, is it true your species communicates through bioluminescence? How many council languages exist? Can you— oh wow, is that a gravity inversion field?" Verlek was surprisingly patient. 17 base languages, 600 derivatives. And yes, that is a gravity inversion field. Do not step into it while chewing. Priya blinked. "Wait, what happens if—" "Don't," DuPont grunted. Arrival at Council Station. Orbit of Bellatrix Prime. The station was a marvel. It was the size of Manhattan, floating like a steel and glass jewel above a gas giant. Dozens of vessels docked at various arms, ships that looked like insects, sculptures, or mobile coral reefs. Elaine didn't gape, though Priya nearly cried at the sight of a living ship that pulsed like a beating heart. The docking bay alone contained over 30 species, some towering, others slug-like, a few crystalline. They all stared at the humans with the subtle disdain of a country club looking at someone in jeans. The pre-council orientation was held in the Grand Reception Hall, an opalescent amphitheater with no visible seams or lights, and yet perfectly illuminated. A tall, skeletal being with 4 arms and a glistening membrane for skin slithered forward. "I am Speaker Vloth of the Vuth Consortium," it intoned. "I will be your orientation host. Please take your place at the guest tier." The guest tier, as it turned out, was several floors beneath the main platform. Elaine raised an eyebrow. "Of course it is." Halfway through the orientation, Vloth opened the floor for welcoming remarks from various council species. The third speaker, a bloated amphibious creature named Ambassador Glimza of the Thurn Confederacy, addressed the humans directly. Primitive mammals of Terra, we bid you a curious welcome. Your species is famed for your violence, your biology so fragile, your minds so erratic. And yet, here you are. It gave a warbling chuckle. We look forward to studying you. Elaine stood slowly. I appreciate your welcome, she said, voice calm. Though I must correct you on a few points. Our biology is resilient enough to survive nuclear winters, venomous fauna, and late-stage capitalism. Our minds are flexible enough to imagine aliens decades before you said hello. And as for our violence, she smiled. Well, we're really good at it. The chamber fell deathly silent. Elaine bowed politely and sat down. Priya whispered, You just threatened an interstellar council. Elaine sipped water. I clarified. DuPont nodded approvingly. Later, as they walked through the halls, Verlek floated beside Elaine. Your remarks have stirred discussion. I hope so, she said. Some are impressed. Others are alarmed. Elaine looked out at the alien skyline beyond the translucent walls. Good. The last thing we want is to be dismissed as a curiosity. We're here to engage. But we won't grovel. Verlek pulsed again. Unusual. Most new species arrive humbled. Elaine glanced back at her team. Priya was scanning wall glyphs with a look of sheer joy. DuPont was eyeing a nearby ceiling panel like he expected something to fall from it. Yeah, she said. We're not most species. That night, Priya sat beside a holographic window, watching ships weave between stars. I used to dream about this, she murmured. Meeting aliens. Being here. I just thought it would feel more welcoming. DuPont handed her a protein bar. First contact never goes smooth. Not even on Earth. Elaine, seated at a corner desk, looked up from her notes. They don't know us yet. Right now they see us as unpredictable, dangerous. But eventually, they'll see what we really are. Priya asked. And what's that? Elaine's eyes narrowed slightly, a gleam of pride in her voice. Adaptable, relentless, and never what you expect. Outside, a passing ship blinked its lights at the window in a pattern Priya hadn't seen before. A message. A greeting. She smiled. The universe had just met humanity, and it was in for a hell of a surprise. End of Chapter 1. Would you like to proceed to Chapter 2? Culture clash, or make edits/expansions to this one? It's not a trap, it's tradition. Elaine stared at the alien before her. Ambassador Suvak of the Jalari Confederation, a quadrupedal, antelope-limbed creature with 3 eyes and a surprisingly smug mouth, stood beside a pulsing archway shaped like a Mobius strip. Please enter the Chamber of Concord for your trial of merit. Elaine's eyes narrowed. You sure it won't disintegrate us? Dr. Priya Khanna, positively vibrating with excitement, interjected. Actually, Ambassador, the Mobius gate projects a dynamic simulation field using quantum neural encoding. It's like a test bed for ethical and tactical scenarios. Sergeant DuPont muttered. I still vote for trap. Suvak clicked his jaws in amusement. The trial is mandatory. All potential council species must undergo it. If Earth declines, well, your candidacy ends here. Elaine turned to her team. Final vote. We walk through the alien ego test. Or we go home. DuPont shrugged. Home's overrated. Priya grinned. We were born for this. Elaine stepped through first. Let's shock some aliens. The world dissolved. Elaine blinked. She stood on a cracked tarmac beneath an orange sky. Burned-out husks of vehicles lay strewn across a bombed-out cityscape. Smoke curled from distant towers. Alien civilians, thin, four-armed with luminescent eyes, ran in panic. A HUD flared into existence, glowing over her left eye. Trial scenario. Planetary crisis response. Civilians in danger. Diplomatic delegation under attack. Lead aid and contain chaos. Difficulty high. Elaine let out a breath. Okay. We're doing this. To her left, Priya appeared beside a holographic console labeled in 3 alien dialects. These species don't share language roots. I need time to build a translation bridge. To the right, DuPont crouched behind cover, assessing terrain. We've got crossfire between a rebel militia and planetary police. Civilians trapped between them. And he paused. That tank just teleported. Elaine smiled grimly. So it's not rigged against us. Just rigged in general. Command center. 15 minutes later. Council observers, projected via hologram into an observation chamber, watched in stunned silence as the humans bent the scenario to their will. Elaine had negotiated a ceasefire by bluffing planetary police into thinking Earth had diplomatic leverage over trade sanctions. Priya had established rudimentary communication by using shared mathematical constants and emotional mimicry, creating a visual code that let the alien civilians relay their needs. DuPont, meanwhile, had hijacked the enemy's teleportation algorithm using only his smart lens and a multi-tool, then used it to insert flashbang drones behind the militia line. The scenario ended with 0 civilian deaths and both factions agreeing to open talks. Uvek stared. They broke it. Scenario 2. Political crisis mediation. A civil war on the gas giant moon of Therak was about to erupt. 2 factions, both ancient council members, refused to speak. The trial required the humans to prevent war through diplomacy, without knowing either species' customs. Within minutes, Elaine had declared a neutral summit in the artificial gravity zone. DuPont arranged security by mapping a predictable honor guard pattern based on body posture and thermal output, literally reading alien body language like poker tells. And Priya, she did the impossible. "I've found a convergence," she announced. The 2 species use different languages but share root metaphors in their spiritual texts. There's a common theme. Equilibrium of breath. That means mutual sacrifice. Using these metaphors, she composed a joint narrative that painted their conflict as a shared imbalance, rather than a righteous struggle. The aliens cried. War averted. Again. Observation chamber. Post-trial. The holograms of council delegates flickered uneasily. A few applauded politely. Most stared, their expressions unreadable. Then came the rebuttal. A tall, horned being stepped forward. Adjudicator Koru of the Volksari Ascendancy, one of the Council's most powerful military species. His armored frame crackled with energy. "Humans are unstable. Your success is not merit. It is chaos. You improvise like feral predators. You gamble lives on instinct." Elaine met his glare calmly. "No, Viasis. We adapt. We win." Koru sneered. "But at what cost? Every species here has learned that restraint preserves peace. You flaunt it." Elaine stepped forward. "If your peace requires obedience over action, then you're not preserving peace. You're preserving stagnation." Gasps echoed across the chamber. DuPont crossed his arms. "Hell yeah." The next day, Council Commons. Elaine, Priya, and DuPont wandered the sprawling atrium, where dozens of species mingled, traded, and whispered. They felt the shift. Alien glances had changed from curiosity to caution. Some turned away. Others stared longer than necessary. A few made warding gestures. "They're scared of us," Priya murmured. Elaine nodded. "Not all. Just the ones who've forgotten what evolution looks like." A gelatinous creature rolled up beside them, offering a thin data crystal. "From the Valari Republic," it burbled. "We liked your style." Elaine smiled. DuPont leaned in. "That's the 6th new contact today. Council's old blood may not like us," Elaine said. "But the new blood. They're watching." Later that evening, human quarters. Elaine poured herself a drink from the emergency diplomatic whiskey kit. "I assume you both realize that today we painted a target on Earth." Priya sat cross-legged, eyes still wide. "But we proved ourselves. We showed them what humanity can do." DuPont was less optimistic. We embarrassed them, beat their test, talked circles around their diplomats, and exposed how brittle their systems really are. Elaine clinked her glass. Exactly. Now we find out which ones want to learn. And which ones want us gone. Just then, a quiet ping echoed through their shared terminal. Message. Summoned to Joint High Council hearing. Discussion. Earth's status. Immediate attendance required. Elaine drained her glass. And here comes Act 2. Council chamber. Emergency session. 300 delegates floated, hovered, stalked, or simply stood around the great chamber. A projection replayed highlights of Earth's trial of merit. Simulations. Tactics. Priya's linguistic breakthroughs. DuPont's tactical flanking. Elaine's blunt, impassioned speech. Carew stood again. Earth is not ready. They are unpredictable. Their presence threatens the equilibrium. Elaine stepped forward. Equilibrium built on inertia isn't stability. It's stagnation. Another alien, Minister Toka of the Druin Unity, spoke. You boast adaptability. But can you follow? Will Earth submit to our traditions? Our codes? Elaine's voice was calm. No. We'll respect them. Learn them. But submission? That's not what we do. You invited Earth. You got Earth. Murmurs rose across the chamber. Then a crystalline delegate shimmered with light. I vote to advance Earth to preliminary member status. Others followed. 1, 5 dozen. The tally appeared in the air. Yes, 124. No, 112. Abstain, 64. Passed barely. Earth was in. Later. Balcony overlooking the stars. Elaine stood with Priya and DuPont, looking out over the station's upper promenade. Below, 1,000 species lived in polite disinterest. Today, Elaine said, we became a variable they can't ignore. Priya whispered, do you think they'll try to stop us? DuPont adjusted his weapon harness. They'll try. Elaine smiled, a steel glint in her eyes. Let them. The Galactic Council had just barely accepted Earth as a provisional member, and the shockwaves were still rippling through the cosmos when the unexpected happened. Elaine Rivera was reviewing briefing reports when the alarm sounded. Intruder alert. Docking Bay breach. Unknown vessel approaching without clearance. DuPont was instantly at her side. What the hell? We're not expecting anyone. Priya's fingers danced across her console. No transponder signals. The ship's cloaking is active, but its trajectory points straight here. Someone wants to make a statement. The Kivrek Envoy cruiser, docked securely at the council station, shifted with a soft hum as security protocols engaged. Council security forces scrambled, a kaleidoscope of species rushing to their posts. Outside the transparent observation window, a sleek black craft appeared out of the gas giant's swirling clouds, a shape unfamiliar even to council veterans. A broadcasted message blinked across every channel in the chamber. Humans, the Galactic Order will not tolerate your chaotic entry. Withdraw or face consequences. Elaine's jaw tightened. Who the hell are they? Council Command Center. Council leaders convened an emergency session. The threat was clear. A faction within the Council, calling themselves the Galactic Order, had rejected Earth's acceptance and was mobilizing forces to push them out by force. Adjudicator Carew was front and center, his expression cold as ice. Earth is an unpredictable liability. Their arrival disrupts the balance we have maintained for millennia. Elaine stood, voice steady. We didn't come here to disrupt. We came to participate. But if you want a fight, you've got one. Council Speaker Vloth's shimmering form oscillated. Earth must prove they can survive this trial, or their membership will be revoked. The calm before the storm. Elaine's team prepared for the inevitable. Priya dove into diplomatic channels, attempting to contact potential allies among the Council's younger, less conservative species. DuPont ran tactical simulations, analyzing possible combat scenarios. Elaine drafted contingency plans that balanced defense with an appeal to common interests. "This is bigger than us," she said. "We represent humanity now. No pressure." Unexpected ally. A communication beacon blinked to life. A fleet of sleek ships, led by a species unknown to Earth, arrived at the station's perimeter. Their leader, Commander Zevra of the Valari Ascendancy, projected calm authority and declared, "We do not seek war, but we respect strength and innovation. Earth has shown both. We offer our alliance." Elaine's eyes widened. "You want to join the fight?" Evra smiled. "No. We want to ensure this fight never happens." First contact with the Galactic Order. The black craft descended into the Council's outer defense ring. Koru's forces, a mix of heavily armored soldiers and advanced drone swarms, launched an aggressive assault on the station's perimeter. The Council's defenses buckled, and chaos erupted. Elaine and DuPont coordinated with the station's security forces. DuPont led a small team to sabotage the Order's cloaking systems, while Elaine negotiated with neutral factions for safe zones. Priya decrypted Order communications, revealing their fear of Earth's adaptability and unpredictability. Battle in the skies. Laser fire and plasma bolts tore through the gas giant's upper atmosphere. The Kivrek cruiser became a hive of activity as humans worked alongside alien forces. Elaine's calm under pressure inspired crews from dozens of species. When the Order deployed a devastating weapon, an energy pulse capable of disabling entire ships, Elaine ordered a risky countermeasure, a coordinated quantum disruption using the cruiser's gravity inversion field. The gambit worked but nearly tore the cruiser apart. Tactical genius. DuPont's quick thinking turned the tide. He used the enemy's overconfidence against them, setting traps with decoy ships and hacking enemy communications to spread false information. Meanwhile, Priya broadcast a message of unity and resilience to all Council species, inspiring a reluctant coalition. Aftermath and reflection. The battle ended with heavy casualties on both sides. The Galactic Order retreated, but their threat lingered like a shadow. Council leaders grudgingly acknowledged Earth's contribution to the defense. Elaine, bruised but unbroken, stood on the station's observation deck, watching stars twinkle beyond. "We came here to join a council. Instead, we've sparked a war." Priya sighed. "But we've also gained respect." DuPont cracked a rare smile. "And enemies." Elaine's eyes burned with fierce determination. "We're just getting started." The air in the Council station was thick with tension. Weeks had passed since the skirmish with the Galactic Order, but the echoes of conflict still haunted every corridor. Earth was no longer just a curiosity or a joke. It was a fulcrum on which the fate of the entire Galactic Council might pivot. Council session, the ultimatum. Elaine stood at the front of the Great Chamber, flanked by Priya and DuPont. Hundreds of delegates filled the room, many still wary of the human presence. Speaker Vloth's shimmering form shimmered with gravity. "Earth has proven its worth in battle, but the threat of the Galactic Order remains. The Council demands a final decision. Will Earth submit to the Council's code or be expelled?" Elaine's gaze swept the room. "Submit. That's a word I don't take lightly. We came here to join this community, not to be caged by it." Adjudicator Koru rose, eyes blazing. "Humans are reckless. You risk everything with your impulsiveness. The code is the only way to maintain order." Elaine's voice rang out, steady and clear. "Order built on fear is not order. It's tyranny. Humanity thrives on freedom, innovation, and the courage to face the unknown. Alliance forged in fire." Commander Zevra and the Valari fleet stood beside Earth's delegation, a symbol of solidarity. "Earth's spirit has rekindled hope in many," Zevra announced. "The Council's strength lies in its diversity and willingness to evolve." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. The challenge. Speaker Vloth proposed a compromise. Earth would undergo the final reckoning, a combined trial of diplomacy, strategy, and combat, judged by a panel representing the Council's most venerable species. Failure would mean expulsion. Success would grant full membership. Elaine accepted without hesitation. We don't back down. The final reckoning begins. The trial was held on an artificial arena orbiting a neutron star, its intense gravity and radiation creating extreme environmental hazards. Diplomatic trial. The first phase tested Earth's ability to resolve a centuries-old dispute between two factions on the verge of annihilation. Priya led negotiations, using her linguistic and cultural insights to unearth common ground. The opposing leaders were skeptical, but Priya's passion and genuine empathy forged a fragile truce. Strategic trial. Next came a simulated military crisis, a surprise attack on a vital supply convoy. DuPont commanded the defense, coordinating multi-species fleets with rapid adaptability. His unconventional tactics, deploying humans in small, flexible strike teams to outmaneuver the larger enemy forces, confounded the judges. Combat trial. Elaine faced the final phase herself, a one-on-one duel against a revered warrior from the Vulksari Ascendancy. The arena was a shifting labyrinth of energy barriers and zero-gravity zones. Koru's champion was fierce and methodical. Elaine, however, fought with unorthodox ferocity, using environmental hazards and sheer unpredictability to gain the upper hand. In a stunning move, she disarmed her opponent using a combination of feints and a last-second grapple. The crowd erupted in stunned applause. Verdict. The council's panel deliberated under the neutron star's eerie light. Minutes stretched like hours. Then Speaker Vloth rose. Earth has demonstrated adaptability, courage, and respect for life. We welcome you as full members of the Galactic Council. Aftermath. Cheers and applause echoed through the station. Elaine, Priya, and DuPont stood side by side, sweat and exhaustion etched on their faces. Zevra approached, offering a rare smile. Your people have changed the council. Elaine looked to the stars beyond the arena window. We've only just begun. Closing scene. Earth's place in the galaxy. Back on Earth, news of their victory spread like wildfire. Humanity's arrival had sparked a renaissance. Technological exchange, cultural blending, and new alliances blossomed. But with recognition came responsibility. Elaine stared at the night sky, feeling the weight of the future. We came here as outsiders, but now we are part of something greater. The galaxy will never be the same. End of story. Would you like me to help with any epilogue, character profiles, or thematic analysis? Tools.